Welcome to the Father Show. Hey, thank you for joining us today. Today, we did something different. We went way back about 5 years, and pulled up a show that I just really wanted you guys to see and hear, because this is a fantastic young man that has shown what it is like to grow up with and without his father in his life, and how he had to make the right choices in his life to make sure his dreams become reality. So I want you to sit back, watch this show. If you're not watching, listen to the show. And you can get a lot out of this, but this is something that we all need to hear. And I want to thank you for joining us. Our guest today is going to be Mr. Anthony Greatness Cotton Jr. Now, you can watch this episode and others on our YouTube channel, The Father Show with Mike Thompson. And while there, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll know when an episode is uploaded. And you can also listen to us on our Facebook page, The Father Show with Mike Thompson, and also on Spotify, Stitcher, Twitter, iHeartRadio, and on Amazon Music Audible. So I want to thank you for joining us. This is going to be a fantastic show. I'm glad that I had the opportunity to reach back and pull up something that you might have missed. So enjoy until we see you next time. God bless you.
Believe it, you become it. So just to clarify why I throw that greatness in there. But I am a motivational speaker, a dancer. I've done commercials out in LA. I graduated from Mount Miller High School, as Mr. Mike said, and then I moved to Los Angeles. And since then, I've danced on the Ellen Show, the Jimmy Kimmel Show. I've worked with the Grammys. I've been very, very blessed at a young age. I'm 22 to be able to do just a lot of cool things. And I just want to give a special shout out to you, Mr. Mike, because I feel like going to the Choices program in high school is really what helped me start doing everything that I do. Because now, I run the program Live Limitless, which is a motivational speaking and performing arts tour. So we go to different high schools and we start with this huge performance, dancing, music, and then I give a 30-minute speech. But that's just, that started from Choices in high school. That's where, the idea was birthed. So I'm honored to be here today. It's amazing. I'm excited.
Well, good. I mean, to say that, and you've been on the Ellen Show and doing the Grammys, and you say you're excited about my show. Hey,
this is
home.
Up
in the world.
This is home. All that is, nice, but this is home.
Well, I'm very, very happy, and I'm really, like I said, so proud of you and seeing what you're doing with your life, after graduating from high school and all that. And it has, it just gets to me sometimes when I look at the kids that were in that program.
Yeah.
And when you can't follow them all, and I've run into a few, and some are doing pretty well. The twins, actually, one went to college and one was working the last time I saw them.
Okay.
So that's nice to see, and then seeing what you're doing and seeing that you have really decided and went after your goal and what you wanted to do. And I remember you doing the talent contest over at Mount Bella High School too. Matter of fact, I still got pictures of that too.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I'm glad to see. One thing we always talked about in choice is making the right choices and choosing what you want to do and going after it.
Right.
And to see that you're doing that is really, it makes me feel good, because at least I know, they say if you can win one,
right,
you've done something. But I wanted to win all of you guys, not just one. I wanted all of you to succeed. And I'm so glad at least you're doing it. And some of the other ones are too, in their own way. But I'm glad to have you back and see you and have you on the show. And it's fantastic. And to bring your dad, Mr. Anthony Sr., this is an honor, because
thank you.
What we always talk about is we want dads to to always, we always promote dads to be a part of their kids' life, boy and girls, because we know how important it is for fathers to be a part of the kids' life. So I never knew, Anthony, that I was going to ask this question today anyway.
Yeah.
So it's great to have you here, and to know that you have been in Anthony's life, since birth.
Yes.
Okay, and that's fantastic. And he is such. I mean, to hear him say Mr. Mike, okay, coming from where, because you and I look like we was close in the same age.
Right.
So to have him say Mr. Mike, and he's always said that, is an honor and a tribute to you. And that should give anybody a clue that you did have a father in your life, because your respect that you give to other people, a lot of times that's because a father is in a child's life.
Right.
And I'm happy to have you here. How has Anthony been as a child?
Well, first off, I'd like to say that I'm proud to have him as my son. I mean, it's just, all a person has to do is just go out in society and look around and look at all the kids and what they're doing, and they're falling through the cracks every day.
Yeah.
And then it's just really a lost generation.
Yeah.
And for someone at his age and the age that he started doing what he's doing, to have the motivation to want to reach out and to help other kids, because a lot of them are close to his own age. It's inspiring to me. And again, I can't take all the credit, because his mom had a lot to do with grooming him to what he is.
Absolutely.
But I've been in his life, and I've been a part of his life, and I'm going to continue to. And I try to support him in all and everything he do. And I try to let him understand that you have a calling on your life. It's more than just I'm going to do this and I'm going to motivate people.
Yeah.
You have to be inspired, and I think you have to be spiritually inspired to do what you do, to want to reach out and change and touch lives.
Yes.
And that's what he's doing. It comes from the heart.
Right. Absolutely.
And not just that. I mean, like his friend Nick and the people that he has around him. I'm glad that he has friends and people like that around him, because that's a huge reflection on him, that you have the type of people around you that gets involved, and they have the same motivation that you got to want to reach out and change lives and keep people on the right track as opposed to the wrong, because there's a lot of wrong going on.
Absolutely. And just to go back and what you said, that his mom had a lot to do with it. And absolutely, I am a big advocate, and I believe wholeheartedly that both parents should be in a child's life, because if you were there and the mother wasn't there, he's still going to be missing something.
No, definitely.
And if she was there and you weren't there, you're still going to be missing something.
Definitely.
So it does take two parents, whether you whether you like it or not, or sometimes whether it can happen nicely or all through the child's life where he's going to have both parents. It needs to happen.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I thank you and I applaud you for staying in this life. And I don't know the situation. We'll get into that because my engineer said we got 2 minutes, so we're going to take a break. So we'll get back into that in a few minutes. But ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to The Father Show, and we have our guests here today, Anthony Jr., Anthony Sr., and Nick. And we are talking about Anthony Jr., Mr. Greatness. I'm going to change that. And we're talking about what he's doing with his life now that he's graduated from high school and going on and doing some fabulous things and following his dream and his passion. And that's what we want our kids to do. So when we get back, we will continue our conversation with them. But if you are an organization that has a program that can help men, I will ask that you will go on the Father Show Resource Program website at www.thefathershow, R as in resources, P as in program.org, and list your information on our website so other men, wherever they may be, because we cover all 50 states, wherever they may be, can find you and get the help that they may need or somebody in their family may need. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere, glue yourself to the seat, and come back with us, and we'll be back right back. Oh, we'll be back right back.
Right back.
Back
Right
right
back.
back.
Right back. That's
Don't
no
go
joke.
nowhere.
Don't go nowhere.
Right back.
I'm going to the red place. That's where I'm going. I was talking about ribs on the way.
On the way
here.
here.
Yeah, I was.
He's got some good ribs, and he's a great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a fantastic guy. And I really appreciate him. He's been supporting me for, what, 2 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, when I started doing the radio.
Mm-hmm.
So, been good.
Yeah, I think last time I saw you, you were just about to start it.
Yeah, we had started, matter of fact, I was at the station over there with Clarence, and we started there, and things, they got sold, and things didn't work out, and so we all kind of left, and Clarence came here and called me up and said, hey, Mike, bring the show here, and so this is where I always like having him as an engineer, so even though he ducked out.
Gotta be done, man. It's gotta be done. Somebody's gotta do it.
So do you mind if we dig into, the relationship between...
No, not at all. It
Okay.
might get a little deep and a little personal, but I think it has a lot to do with who he is.
Yeah.
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 So,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
No
And
problem.
it's okay,
True stuff.
because we understand, I know what it's like, and I've been through
Mhm.
a divorce, and I've had, a great divorce and a real nasty divorce.
Mhm.
So I know both sides of it.
Mhm.
And so nothing you can say gonna surprise me.
Okay.
You say is probably gonna,
Just
anything
stay
I
away
haven't
from the
heard
crazy
before.
women.
Never get married ever.
That's my biggest advice.
Make
Stay
sure
away
we're
from
up to
them
air.
crazy girls.
Oh. Yeah,
Oh, man.
As soon as you realize they crazy, leave them alone.
Leave 'em
Don't go.
alone.
Don't go. Let me investigate a little bit further.
Yeah.
I learned that one real young.
Yeah, so-
Real young.
That'll get you
Yeah,
a long
sometimes-
way right there.
And that's the
Just-
hard part. Sometimes guys don't want to walk away when you
You know
see
they
the
crazy.
signs. Yeah, you see it, you hear it.
Like,
you
man,
know
she
it.
crazy? Hey, girl, what you doing?
For real.
It was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's 95% of man's downfall right there.
Come on,
Yeah.
Samson.
Samson is the guy who got his hair cut off.
Yeah, exactly. Messing with that one crazy.
Yeah, they're crazy. He knew she was crazy.
He knew she was crazy.
Yeah, I had one to tell me. She like, well, Mike, we didn't know you wanted to know. I said, what do you mean? I would have liked to go in with my eyes open
Mm-hmm.
instead of my eyes closed, because she hid a lot. And
Yeah.
that's what, I always tell young men and men,
Investigate.
investigate. Don't jump into it and say, oh, I'm in love. This is 6 months. We're going to get married. Boy.
Right.
Y'all live in a world now where y'all can Google people.
I think I literally
You
said
have
that
no
to
excuse
somebody.
anymore.
No excuses. We didn't have that. We couldn't go to the library and
I
Alright.
think I
check a
literally
chick
said
out.
that
Like,
to somebody
okay, what you
yesterday.
about?
I said that to somebody.
And
I
could-
said that to somebody yesterday.
What?
They were like, "Oh, what have you done in the film industry?" She's like, "Oh, you can just Google me."
Oh, okay, yeah,
So
I Googled me, but couldn't find anything.
yeah.
That's what I wanted.
Almost there. We almost there.
No, just wait till you start doing something really big. Then that's when the Google will
Yeah,
put all your business out there.
Yeah, then you're gonna be wishing.
That's why I have a little trick in there, so I think I might need to
Okay.
stay out of it a little bit.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome back, everybody, and you're listening to The Father Show, and I'm your host, Mike Thompson, and we have 3 fantastic guests today. We have Anthony Sr., Anthony Cotton Sr., let me get all that out. Anthony Cotton Sr., we have Anthony the Greatness Cotton Jr., and we have Nick, and I'm not going to try to say your last
it's
name.
Tezeker, but it's okay.
Yeah, I'm going to let you get up here and talk about it.
Yeah, let's go that out.
So, but before we took a break, we were talking about, Anthony Sr. being in Anthony Jr.'s life and all that dynamics that went along with it.
Mhm.
So let me ask you, are you and his mom still married?
No, we've been separated since I think he was 1 year old.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow. And you stayed there with them?
stayed there.
Did she make it easy?
Yeah, she did. She
Good.
did, and that's I can give her credit and a pat on the back for that too, because a lot of times they'll kind of, use the child as a leverage and everything, but she never
Absolutely.
did that. She made sure or encouraged him and us to, stay involved in each other's
Oh,
life.
man, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Mothers,
Yeah.
did you hear that? Say it again.
Yeah.
It is so important that both parents stay a part of the kid's life. And they got to get away from, well, you know, he did this or she did that.
Right.
And it's about the child.
Right.
And seeing what you and his mom has done, and to raising him, and for the man that he's come out to be, is a testimony to other parents that should be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
They should be working together to make sure that they have the best child that they can possibly produce. And I preach about it, I speak about it all the time. Parents need to be a part of their kids' life. And I mean, it'll stop on the dropout, it'll stop at the suicides, it'll stop the
So true.
craziness, you know.
So true.
So it's good to see that you two work together and made sure that he stayed on the right path.
Yeah.
And so he can live what and give the gift that God has given him
Definitely.
and to the world.
Yeah.
And that's what's important, because we all been born with some gifts. God has put some things in each and every one of us, and
Just
if we don't
freely.
use it, right? And if you don't use it or recognize it, or you know, you take it to your grave, and the world did not benefit from what you have. And I'm glad to see you're doing that. So, was it hard raising him? You know, being a single father, and you know, having the mother in a separate home.
No, it wasn't, because you know, of course, his mother was the one that really kind of put the hammer down when it came to discipline.
Okay.
And I kind of, you know, she used to get on me a lot about, well, you don't discipline him, you don't whoop me. And we have a running joke to this day when we get around family, and the question comes out, how many times have you actually whooped him?
Twice.
And the answer is
Twice. And once I asked for a whooping, because I found that if he whooped me, my mom wouldn't. I was like, so
double duty that day.
double trouble.
So wait a minute, I caught a little bit of this, and I think I love hearing what I just heard. At family get-togethers.
Mm-hmm.
So you and the former wife are in the same room,
Mm-hmm.
doing things still together.
Yeah.
And,
We
you know,
yeah, we
benefit him.
Yeah, we did. You know, like I said, he's 22 now, or 21.
22, yeah.
22. Just had a birthday in July. You know, I'm really still close with his mom's side of the family. You know, really real close with him. And I just made it an effort. You know, they were always good to me.
Yeah.
You know, always had a good relationship with him. And just because the relationship between him and his mom, me and his mom, didn't work out, we just kept that bond. And you know, to this day, kept in touch and still keep in touch. And again, the relationship with me and his mom, I mean, of course, she has her life and I have mine, but we still have my son. And when it comes to matters dealing with him and major decisions, then we do get together and we talk. He doesn't know that we talk, but we talk.
Man, can I put y'all on a poster? Put y'all right up there on a poster, and we can put it up there so the world can see it.
That's funny.
It's fantastic, man. I mean, you were blessed to have a mother and a father
Thank you.
that understood the importance of them being in your life.
Yeah.
And your mom, I mean, is extra kudos for the mom, because a lot of times we do know that moms can make it a little bit of a headache for a father to stay in a child's life, but she promoted it. And that was good. Irregardless to any conflict that the two of you may have, she promoted that you two. I'd love to have all three of y'all on the show to talk about this. That's really good. I'm very happy to hear that. You just don't hear that enough in today's society.
Right.
So, yeah. So how did you feel, you know, having parents that were divorced, but you know, could you get away with stuff? Did you try to get away with things? Or?
I feel like being with Dad was the comic relief. I don't know. That was the fun part. that was just, you know. I mean, it was fun, you know, being with Mom too. But you know, that's Dad. You know, we would go out and do stuff, and he would introduce me to different types of music and all this food. Yeah, just being with Dad was always just the fun part.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of my personality and my passions for, I mean, because he's not the best dancer, but, you know, through him listening to all kinds of music, I just fell in love with music, which caused me to fall in love with dancing. I remember when I discovered Michael Jackson, I ran into him like, Dad, man, have you heard of this dude? He's like really good.
Like years later, like way later.
Yeah, I'm like, have you heard
I
of him?
played into it and got him the double CD and everything.
Right, and that's true when he said that he's always supported anything, like I can come up with the most obscure idea, he's always supported it. He's bought me my first CDs. He's the first person I come to like, Dad, I think I want to do music, or Dad, I think I want to dance. And ever since I was a kid, he has told me that I have the it factor.
Mm-hmm.
And at 4 or 5 years old, I had no clue what that meant.
Mm-hmm.
He just like, you have the it factor. You'll see what I mean. And you know, I discovered like there's the show The X Factor. Like he was the originator of that, because he's been telling me since I was a child that I have the it factor, and just pouring into those dreams and not ever telling me like, oh no, that's not realistic, or no, you can't. He's always just poured in. What do you need? What can I do to help you?
Yeah.
Always. Anything from financially to getting me books on top of books on books to read, just to educate myself on the things I speak about. It's just huge supporter. One of my biggest supporters.
So, Mr. Cotton, what is your background?
My background is just, actually, to be honest, the best way I can describe it is pretty tragic, which to me, I think it has a lot to do with what he's doing, you know, because what I've been through in my life and everything, I can kind of feed him. In matter of fact, I actually spoke at one of the schools that he was working at to the kids of what I've been through without coming up without a father, and what can happen to you when you don't have that positive role model in your life. So I hit a brick wall. I was incarcerated for a while, for 8 years out of my life.
Okay.
And to get out and then have him want me to come to his school. I want you to talk to these kids. I want you to tell them what it's really like.
Yeah.
And I thought about it and I resisted it, because when I was, this last 9 months when I got out, I was working at this place called CMRC. It's an education reentry center. And I got forced into education, because I was like the gray hair old school, and you got these 19, 20, 21-year-olds. And they kind of forced me, okay, well, we're going to give you the ultimatum. You get up here and you join education and tell these kids what it's really like being on the inside.
Yeah.
If you want to go home.
Ooh.
So they forced my hand, and I just was inspired, and it was like a snowball effect.
Yeah.
And you know, I loved it, and I was like, well, if I could just kind of get that platform once I get out to touch lives like that, and my son doing what he's doing, they asked me to speak at the school, and first I was hesitant, and I went and I talked to him, and it went over well. You know, they asked me to come back and so on and so forth. But I think that with the story I have to tell, combined with what he's doing right now to inspire the kids, you know, it's something that can be told in the combination of both that will, you know, they can sit there and their eyes can be wide open.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
Right.
I'm telling you just like it is. You know, you keep on doing what you're doing. You keep on running out there with your buddies, the ones that's patting you on the back the whole time. Those are going to be the very ones that once you get inside them bars, those are going to be the first ones that's gone.
Yeah.
Gone with the wind.
Yeah.
The ones that's got you out there doing all the dirt and all the trouble. So I think that with what I went through, again, it can be something that can be told to maybe keep, not to sound like a cliche, but if you can just keep one or two kids on the right path, then it's a story worth telling.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're hitting it right on the head. And I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing. And Anthony, you know, it's great that you asked your dad. And to have him come in and talk to the kids and, you know, to let them know this is what is real.
Right.
This is, you know, they hear and their buddies are telling them one thing.
Exactly.
You know, this makes you a man. You know, you're a man, we can go to jail. And
Right.
no, that ain't being a man.
And none of them have probably ever stepped foot into a jail. The
No.
people that are telling them how cool it is, or how tough they're going to be, or they spent the night
Yeah.
and were released
How
the
much
next
respect
morning.
you know,
Yeah.
the community and your peeps gonna have over you.
Right.
And
So to have that real inside
yeah,
point of view and like the true stories
Yeah.
of the gruesome things that happen,
Yeah.
you know, because they don't hear that.
No.
So to hear that firsthand from somebody that saw that, powerful.
yeah, it is.
Powerful.
It is, and that's why it's even good when you're out there talking to kids
Yeah.
to let them know that they can succeed and they can make it, and you follow your dream and you are doing it watch me as I do
And
what I do,
exactly.
and I'm following my dream, and you can do it. And I'm so happy to hear that. And Mr. Cotton, you know, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem.
I'm gonna bring Nick up, but man, I would love to do. I would love to have your mom and you and Anthony to come back and do the show.
Yeah.
And let's talk about it because it's important. And I really believe it's important that parents learn how to work together, whether they're in the same home or not. So, but that's my cue. I got to take another break, and we're going to be right back. But don't go anywhere. We got Anthony's business manager coming up, Nick, and we're going to really dig into what Anthony's doing now. And so we can talk about it some more. I don't want people to not know all about you. All right? So stay with us, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good segment. If it's, I don't know how we would work it in, even though we're shifting gears. I think it's important to talk about
Get the chair.
the effect that his absence in that time had on my life
Okay.
as encouragement. Because the main thing it was that it taught me not to make excuses. And I think that message needs to be heard by some young people.
Mhm.
Because they use their, my parents were.
There's a lot of them going through it. There's no
Yeah.
question it's a reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Point
And
blank.
they don't know
Yeah.
how to necessarily deal with
Or
it.
maybe we can talk about that, like, if we come back. But just
And we
to-
can still mention it because I'm actually, that's part of my speech tomorrow when
Yeah.
I talk with these kids for the first time.
Where you speaking
Is
of,
at a school called Axo Academy. It's off of Abilene and Abilene and should I get the
Aurora?
address?
We can
Yeah,
talk
it's in
about that
Aurora.
because I didn't grow up with the
He
dad.
says Aurora, he's
Yeah.
from California.
My dad didn't come back to my life until I was 17.
Yeah,
So we can mention that. If you
yeah,
want.
we can talk about that.
So
Yeah, but it's good, and one of the things I'm going to tell them is no excuses.
Right.
Exactly,
You know,
exactly. That's what it taught me, not
all-
to make excuses.
Yeah, all this stuff about my neighborhood, my parents,
Which
my,
is legitimate. These are legitimate issues, but
It's an issue. There's no question about
Right.
it. But you cannot let that piece make it where you cannot be who you want to be.
exactly.
You just have to decide for yourself
exactly.
that I'm going to succeed, even in spite of these little obstacles that I had to go through. They are exactly who made those obstacles that you went through. Those trials and tribulations made you who you are.
Yeah.
And it's no doubt about that, good or bad, but you can still become the greatness if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
But you
biggest
just gotta
excuse
want to.
I hear from young folk right now is I can't do this because of this.
Right.
I can't do this because of this. And I
Yeah.
can't do that because of this.
Yeah.
and you get a lot of that
And
in
you're
Los
like,
Angeles.
wow,
Yeah.
you
A lot
they
of
make
competition.
it.
Yeah.
Do you? Is that what you believe?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I can't do this because of this, and it just goes on and on and
Yeah.
on and never ending, and it's like
It's a
wait a
spiral
minute.
effect. It just keeps
Yeah.
going and going
You,
and
listen,
going.
you're not wanting to try. You don't want to try. You don't want to put the effort in, and it takes a lot of work. And some people
Mhm.
just don't want to do the work.
Mhm.
And they say, "Oh, I got this dream, but okay, what are you doing?" Well, nothing. I'm playing video games.
right.
Video
right,
games
right.
got to do with your dream.
Right.
Absolutely nothing.
Or you
That's-
making some. I used to tell you guys, you making somebody else rich while you
Yeah.
go broke.
Yeah.
You're playing video games. You're buying the
the
Jordan
Jordans, the
shoes.
yeah,
all that.
I remember that.
Yeah, that's like, okay, they already rich. They don't
You
That's
just,
pretty
you just,
cool.
really
you just
need
put
your
more money in Michael Jordan's pocket than
Yeah.
Less than yours that
Right.
you don't have.
Right.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Well, welcome back, everybody, and we are right here on the Father Show, and we're talking with Anthony the Greatness Cotton, and he has his business partner now with him as Mr. Nick.
Nick. Yeah.
And how do you say your last name, Nick?
It's Tzeker.
Tzeker.
Yes.
That's cool. What is that?
It's Hungarian.
Oh, really? Okay. Tzeker.
Tzeker.
I like it.
That's
Tzeker. What's your name? Nick Tzeker.
Tzeker. Or he calls me Tizzy, so.
Tizzy? No, I won't go there.
All right. All right, that works.
Yeah.
You just can't call another grown man tizzy.
No, I don't want to be called Tizzy. I'm securing my masculinity,
Sounds funny
but
that they say it that way.
Yeah, now it sounds okay.
Yeah.
I would go with like
So,
tiz.
hey, this is between you two, so you can call them whatever you want to call them.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, we were, you know, in the previous sets, we were talking with Anthony Cotton Sr. and Jr. and talking about, you know, them growing up together and having Anthony Jr. having both parents in his life. But you did mention that there were, and your dad mentioned that there was like 8 years where he wasn't there.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
You know, I think I tried to convince myself that I wasn't feeling anything or that I was fine, but it was eating me up inside.
Mm-hmm.
It really was. But with that being said, I think that was like one of my first lessons of perseverance and just that my pain had a purpose, if that makes sense.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could have used that as an excuse to, oh, I didn't have a dad, so I joined the gang,
Yeah.
and you know, this is my family, or oh, I didn't have a dad, so I start, you know, there's all these excuses that I could have came up with, but it taught me how to make a choice. Either you're gonna choose to use this as fuel, and you know, use it as something to help other people, or you're gonna use it as an excuse to fail.
Yeah.
And at a young age, I was blessed enough to use it as fuel, and I mean, it's taken me very far. And you know, he's back. We, you know, like he was never gone.
Yeah.
It was not the end of the world.
Yeah.
It was not the end of the world.
Did you get to go out and see him on occasion?
No,
I wouldn't
Okay.
allow it.
I didn't, and that was really more my fault.
I wouldn't
Because
allow it.
Really? Okay.
and a lot of the time I didn't, you know, my coping mechanism was to not cope with it, not even, and that
Face
wasn't
it.
healthy.
Yeah.
It wasn't healthy at all, and I've learned since then that was not how to deal with it. But like I said, it was my first lesson. It was the first time I had to be like, okay, either I'm going to choose to use this as fuel or I'm going to fail right now.
Yeah.
And then